Hello and welcome to Satisfactory Update 4. I'm here in the experimental branch because Update 4 has been released today onto the experimental branch. So for this series, we're going to jump into my Update 3 base that many of you joined me on for the 105 episode run, and we're going to take a look at what's new in the patch notes, go through some of the changes today, and then over the course of the next however many episodes, we're going to take apart different parts of the Update 3 base, aluminum/aluminium, nuclear, and a couple other assemblies, and put them back together with the correct new Update 4 designs. And that'll take a few episodes, and then once that is complete, then at some point in the near future, we will start over again with an Update 4 series, possibly in the Dune Desert. I've been asked a couple times to play out there, so possibly out there in the Dune Desert. But that'll be a little ways in the future. I want to get through and touch on these highlights or these high points in Update 4 and go through the ways to convert an Update 3 base to an Update 4 base, because I think that's the most pertinent and useful at this time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the Update 3 base and begin the review of Update 4 with the changes to Update 4 and all the new stuff and the patch notes. So there's been a lot of new stuff that has been talked about already, and we'll talk about some of those things first, and then we'll start talking about some of the things that were brand new revealed today as I record this. So the first thing we've all known about for a while is the new resource wells and the pressurizer and the extractor. Those are going to be an update, or a tier 8 rather, item, and I believe they're included in the aluminum? Yes, in the aluminum production. We have the resource well pressurizer and extractor, and we can also scan for water wells and crude oil wells, and nitrogen gas wells for that matter. One of the things that freaked me out a little bit about this update is the crude oil. We're currently extracting a lot of crude oil out there on the coastline in the water, and I was afraid that this update would somehow break all of that and that we would need to use this new extraction method, but we don't. The new extraction method is to enhance the extraction of oil and water, not to replace it. So all the existing oil extraction that's out there on the coast will still work. We'll still have all of our fuel-based power here, and we'll still have all of our oil products, the plastic and the rubber and whatnot, coming into the base in a steady amount. So that's great. So those items will get unlocked as we work our way through Tier 8. One of the other new items, well, it's specifically nitrogen, is the new resource. Nitrogen is a gas. It's the first gas in the game, but if for the most part works like the other fluids, water and crude oil and things like that currently, except that gases do not need pumps. The extractors themselves provide enough pressure to pressurize a gas going through a pipe. So we don't need those pumps in order to get the vertical lift anymore. The gases themselves are fine without the pumps, which is nice because that means we don't have to waste the power on such things. So the next thing is the blender, and the blender is in a lower tier, and it came with bauxite refinement, aluminium. And that's the blender. The blender can take in up to 2 solid and up to 2 liquid items and blend them together into a new item. One of the new items that we'll have is sulfuric acid, I believe. And that's one of the new items that's blended, I think, is something to do with nuclear and sulfuric acid. That's the way I wanted to say this. So we're going to take a look at this as we get there once again, as we rebuild the bauxite refinement process, and then we'll get to it again as we get into nuclear, and which is, they move nuclear. Nuclear is now in Tier 8. So we do have a nuclear plant in this base. We do have some stuff built, but that's all that power is gonna die here, as because this stuff isn't probably being produced correctly anymore. So we're gonna have to go out there and rebuild that nuclear plant. There are many new parts in the game. A few of them are things like aluminum casings, which is here, I believe, in... No, it's not. It's here in the bauxite refinement. Yes, aluminum casings. These are used for... I'm not sure what. But that's one new thing. There are empty fluid tanks. There's the cooling system and such that we saw here. There's a bunch of new stuff in the nuclear power, including the magnetic field generators, and then we have things like Miners Mark III. Actually, those were already in there, but I think they changed the recipe on it. Although we didn't use any Miners Mark III in this base. Thermal propulsion rockets, those are new. Obviously, some of the nitrogen stuff. Plutonium fuel rods. So that's an addition to the nuclear base that we're going to have to figure out how those all work. So as you can see, we have a lot of work to do here to get everything ready. There are 17 new alternate recipes available, so we're going to end up doing a lot of research here in the MAM, and that leads me to some other things that are now available in the MAM. And I believe, yes, here under Caterium, we now have the Zipline. The Zipline, we can actually start that. Let's go and start that now. The Zipline allows us to zipline down power lines, which is hilarious and awesome, and we're definitely going to do that. And the power switch, which I don't know how much I will actually use these, but we might find a place to use them to make sure that we can cut off different parts of the base and make sure that we can bring power back online if something happens, say when nuclear dies, for example. Speaking of that, speaking of power dying, there's been a lot of changes also to... Actually, there's one more thing here in the I think there's one more thing here in the MAM. Actually, apparently there isn't. Okay, there was just the two then. The two new items there in the MAM. Speaking of power generation is completely different in this update. The biomass burners that we start the game, or get the game early on in the game, they still function the same, but every other power generating source generates 100% of its power, whether you're using it or not. So we have 13,000 megawatts, 13 gigawatts of production, almost 14 of production right now. A good chunk of that's in nuclear, so that's going to be a problem. But everything now produces maximum power output, except for geothermal generators. Before, geothermal generators produced a static amount. Now the amount is adjustable, and that's probably what this curve is that we see happening here, is the geothermal power going up and down. And so that adds in a brand new item. That adds in the power storage. You can put some of these down, and they serve as like accumulators in Factorio. They're just a giant battery that you can use to store power, and to then to release that power back into the power network when it needs to be released. So that's where this new line on the power, the capacity line is. Although right now it's the same as the production line. That's what this new line is. And then we have a maximum consumption line, which tells us exactly how much power our base could consume if it was consuming everything. And we have a consumption line, which is the amount of power that we are currently consuming, which is pretty surprising that we're consuming about 80% of the 67 to 80%, depending on flexibility here. Yeah, almost. Well, we'll call it 2/3 of our power max consumption we're consuming right now. And a large chunk of that is that they changed some of the stack sizes on some of the items. So right now the base is trying to fill up some boxes in the mall over there. So that's some of the new stuff. There are also new project parts for the space elevator. So we're gonna have to make those in order to unlock Tier 8, I assume, which we're gonna work on as we are able to. And then maybe some of them are for Tier 9 when that is available. I'm assuming there's going to be a Tier 9 when that's available. Let's see. Some of the other changes. In addition to the nuclear stuff we talked about a moment ago, you can now actually process some of the waste. So that's really, really useful. And you reduce the waste by making that plutonium stuff. So we're going to have to look at that more in depth there. I want to head over to my already built awesome shop and cover the next things. We now have indoor lighting and floodlights and street lights and a lighting control panel that unlocks, or that gives us the ability to control I think possibly the intensity, but definitely the color of the lights themselves. So let's add to cart a few of these items here. Why won't it let me go back? Let's click on streetlights, add to cart, floodlights, add to cart, and then there's the back button. And then the light control panel, add to cart. Why did you not add all those to the cart? Interesting. Is there a bug here? Okay, there we go. You apparently can't click on the item down there to add stuff to the cart. And we're going to buy all of these lights. We have 34 fix-it tickets, and it only costs 11 to buy all the lighting-related stuff, because I want to build some lighting in this series. The next thing, let's go back to the research computer here, and let's take a look at leading edge production. No, where is it at? Tier. Ah, yes, the hover pack. Now, instead of having to rely on the jetpack so much, as long as you're in a powered area of your base, the hover pack will wirelessly charge itself off of your base's power. I don't know what the range is. We're going to have to play with that a little bit, but that gives us the hover pack and apparently some more inventory slots. And also, in addition to those, if I can find them, are drones. Did we get the drones already? Maybe we have the drones already. There they are. We already have the drones, so we're going to have to unlock the drones and the drone ports. The usefulness of these is going to be a little bit mixed in this base, because this base wasn't really designed for them, but I'm going to use them just because. So what the drones will do is the drones will carry items back and forth between 2 drone ports. You can assign 1 drone to each port, and then you can build the drones, and they can haul items back and forth. Now, obviously, we need to have aluminum in order to unlock this, or to build these items. Well, maybe not. We needed aluminum to unlock these items, but we've already unlocked this tier, or this item in this tier. So we'll figure out how to build the drones and the drone ports as part of this series. And then I think there's one final thing. Yes, there is. In the leading edge production, no, in the particle enrichment, there is a particle accelerator. And the particle accelerator gives us the ability to make one of the new project parts. That means there must be an unlock coming for tier 9 in the future. And of course there are other things here. This is the new part called nuclear pasta, which is hilarious. So that's kind of the biggest highlights. Let me double check the notes and make sure that I didn't have anything else to talk about before we got started. The fuel generator burns a little bit less fuel, and there's a few other items. There's a bunch more crash sites available, but everything else is more optimization, quality of life, different improvements along that line that maybe I'll notice or talk about as we get affected by them. But I don't think we need to spend time discussing them now. So what I want to do is I want to I need to re-unlock nuclear power, and I'm going to go ahead and select that milestone, and then I want to come over to the map and see if we got that zipline done. We do. And then let's start up the
equipment unlocked.
Okay, that's all you're going to say? Let's go ahead and unlock then also the power switch. And then we're going to start some hard drive research. I do have 20 hard drives. There are allegedly 17 new recipes. I may also be missing a few that were added in updates, and later in update 3, like update 3.7. I can't remember, but I have a few extra hard drives so that we can do that as needed. And if we need more hard drives, then I will get more hard drives. But at least for now, actually, I'm put these fix-it tickets in here too. At least for now, we will go with that. So let's go and take a look at the new lighting. Is that under power? No. Is it under organization? Yes, it is. Let's take a look at some of these new lighting items. Looks like we need something for them. We need quartz. Really? Well, we need to go upstairs then. Let's, how do I get upstairs in this base again? Let's go upstairs. There's a few ways to get upstairs, but this is one way. There's also a hypertube that brings us up here. I don't have this quartz going to the mall, so there's a couple items that we're gonna have to possibly send to the mall that aren't currently in the mall. But we can do that over time as well. That's concrete. concrete. Here, I think? Yes. Let's go ahead and take those. Ooh, that's a new interface. Or is that added? No, that might have been added with update 3.7. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember now. This is a new feature too, though. Copy paste. You can now copy the recipe from this to another refinery or another building of the same type, which is going to be really, really useful. So let's go ahead and copy this just to demonstrate it, and then we can clone this building. And I'm just going to build one out here, and then we can click here, and we should have a paste button. Paste. And it also pastes the clock speed too, I assume. So that instead of having to scroll through here and find the recipe, especially like with the assemblers and constructors, because they have a large window, a large list, you can just click on the production and click paste, and it will paste the recipe and the clock speed. So that makes life a lot easier when building, which we won't be able to use a whole lot of right now, but hopefully at some point in the next series. So that's lighting. Lighting, yes, lighting. So let's actually go back down. Can I make a leap off of here? Leap of faith here? And go back down into where it's dark here in the base. Because you can't really see lights if they're not lit. There's an arrow to tell us which direction. So the street light, it would be good to put alongside the rails. Just need to have... Okay, so we can crank up and down the intensity. We have a night mode. I need to connect a power line to it? That's not the right button. Yes, I do. And I get a power pole. And I get a power pole. You? Yeah. Okay, so we have light. That's actually pretty bright. It only covers, looks like about four, I guess if I had to put it right on the connector, looks like it covers 4 foundations, which isn't bad. We can crank the intensity down. That's nice. We can choose from several different colors that we can do presets on the colors. So if we want to, change color 2, we can change color 2. And then we can set the color that we want to set, which is kind of nice. And I'm not sure what night mode means. Maybe it just turns the light on and off based on whether it's dark or not. Let's go ahead and put up a couple more lights. A ceiling light. Actually, I should have done this differently. Let's put down a power pole and connect that over there. And the ceiling light is also very bright. Holy crap. It was bright. Let's turn that off. So that covers a little bit more area. Not much, actually, maybe not really any more area as the... And I can't reach it from here, so let me get a ladder. There are ladders now. Did I not? I didn't unlock the ladders in this save because that was an update 3.7 thing. Okay, we're going to have to go buy ladders from the Awesome Shop. Let's go into the Awesome Shop. Factory ladder, look at that. Okay, buy that. Oh, I put my coupons away. Well, crap. We're not that far. I'm just going to get the coupons. I don't know why I put the coupons away. I clearly need them, so I should just have them. I guess I could have left that Awesome Shop having been built because, yeah. Okay. And there's a few other things here that I might want to buy also. I never did buy the stairs. Never bought walls. We could do something like the power attachments, the wall attachments for power, things like that. So there's things we could continue buying, but those are things that have been around for at least a little while, so I don't want to necessarily do that. Now, let's look at the ladder here. Just so I can climb up here and possibly... Okay, how do you? Maybe you can't E on the... Well, then in that case, we must use the lights control panel. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, let's put that here, actually. And we run this power line once again. Okay, so you plug the power into here, and then you plug the lights into there. And this allows us to control the intensity of all attached lights. To control the intensity of all attached lights. Why did it not control the intensity of the attached lights? Okay, that controls the color. Interesting that it's not controlling the intensity. Oh, maybe it is. It just isn't letting them go completely dark. It's creepy though. Okay. So that's the lights control panel, and we have a couple more lights. Let's do the wall-mounted. Holy crap, that's huge. Wall-mounted floodlight. Oh, it has. Oh, I should have done that. Let's do this again. It has some adjustments we can do with the mouse wheel. So if you want it to be more up or more down, you can do that. And then we can have some power connecting to that. And then it has a nice coverage area. A really nice coverage area, in fact. And then we have the floodlight tower that is enormous, that I'm not going to be able to place here. Out here. And then apparently we can adjust. Oh, we can adjust the angle of the floodlight there too. So it's the same floodlight. It's just tower based instead of being wall mounted, which is handy. So that's lights. Delete those. We need to delete that as well. And then let's look at what's next. Zip lines would be fun to look at. We have a good power line here. Let's look at this. Probably needs to be made in the equipment workshop. Let's set one of those up. There might be something else new in here we need too. This needs a zapper. Okay. And then I guess you put it on. We'll go there, I guess. And then can we just do... We E on it? Click on it? We click on it. Oh, you gotta click and hold. Okay. Oh, I'm on the wrong power line, but that's fine. Look at that. That is awesome. And you can release to be disconnected. Oh, you don't even have to jump. You just click it and it attaches. Oh, and you can even make turns at power pole. That's hilarious. Okay, and yeah, turn that way. Oh, this is gonna be fun until I fall. Okay, well apparently you can't reach very far. Let's go back up. Is this just an up, or is this a... Oh, this is a connect me to crazy parts of the base tube. I think this takes me back to the mall. I couldn't remember how I... Whoa, that gets creepy. It gets a little bit wider field of view when you're in the tube like this. Okay, yeah, we're back here at the mall now. So that's the zip line, and I think those are the items that we can easily get to right away. Really those two things, the lights and the zip line. So now we're going to have to work on, let's see, there we are. Now we're going to have to work on rebuilding things. So we need to look at the recipes for the aluminum. Actually, I should have taken a tube up. Let's take a tube up. The aluminum, because I think that one's the first one we're going to be able to change. And that's all right in this general area here. Yeah, here's our first step, and it's already broken. Because this recipe is the old recipe. So let's take a look at what we can do. And we aren't going to be able to build this today in this episode, but we can look at what we can do with the aluminum. So first off, we need to be able to do the alumina solution, which actually is this recipe. Oh, it's just backed up. The alumina was backed up. So this recipe may not have changed, which is good. And then the alumina solution goes into other refineries, which we have here, doing the aluminum scrap. and those are outputting extra water. And then that aluminum scrap is then going into, or used to go into a smelter. And is that still the same? That is still the same. So why is this different? Oh, it's coal instead of coke. Is that a difference? I think that's a difference. Coal. Is that coal or is that coke? Climb up the pole here and see. That's coke. Okay, so they changed the recipe from coke to coal. So that'll be an easy fix. We'll be able to make that fix pretty easily. That makes aluminum ingots. Some of the ratios might have changed, so we might have to do some of that work. Let me take a small detour here and put down another MAM. So I'm going to jump down, and let's accept the power switch. And I put my hard drives away in the box. This I can do easily. Don't put stuff away, Wally. Let that be a lesson to you. And then we'll scan a hard drive. And that'll be ready for the next episode. But, so we're going to have to take apart, or we're going to have to remove all of the coke that's on this line and supply it with just coal, which makes, like I said, makes life a little bit easier in some ways, a little bit harder in other ways, because right now that's petroleum coke. And that means that the whole belt can be deleted, and we'll have to bring in actual coal from that end of the base that we're mining down to the far end. So that'll be a project for the next episode. And let's see. Anything else changed? I don't think it did. I'll look a little bit harder at these recipes between the episodes, but I think this is enough for... yeah, here's the alternate recipe that we had, that we were using. Oh, wait, this does use coke. Okay, maybe I need to go check this. Aha. Okay, it's alive again. I guess we didn't need to... I'm going to check the ratios to make sure all the ratios work out. But that might make life a little bit easier if we can do that. And so that'll make the ingots, and then we'll have to check and make sure that the aluminum sheets, which I think are made in an assembler, are the same. Alclad aluminum sheets, possibly. And then from there, there's one other aluminum thing that we might need to work on. We're going to have to make the aluminum casings, that's for sure. But we will... How are those made, actually? Oh, just the aluminum ingots to casings. Okay. So we're going to have to maybe change some ratios, maybe make a little bit more aluminum. But that should be fine. We shouldn't have a problem with that. And we'll make those casings, and we'll figure out the rest of this in the next episode. So thank you all for joining me for this initial look into Update 4, and I hope you'll join me for the continuation of this series and the making of all of the new Update 4 things, the making of all of the changes to aluminum and nuclear and components like that, and then later, hope you'll join me for the Update 4 from Scratch series. So thank you all for joining me today, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.